Many of my friends, and especially my relatives, consider me to be, well, plain eccentric. and abnormal. And I just think, well, of course I'm normal. You know. What other people think of you is, it can be important, it depends. I think when you're a young boy, you worry a lot about what you look like. You really care what other people think of you. It really worries you. When you grow up and gradually mature, and it's taken me an awful long time to mature, then you realize that it's totally unimportant. As long as you're not in any way offensive to others, it's completely unimportant what they think of you. Let them think that I'm eccentric. Let them think that I'm a little odd. It's not important. It's something you don't think about when you're young. You can't imagine being old. And now here I am, I'm 82. Growing old is something which I don't notice because I keep doing most of the things I used to do. My health is fine. I'm still able to work. I suppose I'm very lucky. What gets me out of bed in the morning is the thought of spending my time usefully. I think it's a basic human desire to be of use to others, especially as you get older. And I think it becomes more and more and more important the older you get, when you're not as easily able to be of use to others. I'm repairing this 18th century double bass. And it's been an incredibly difficult job. It's taken months and months. It was something considered impossible by the luthiers in Holland. But I've taken it on and I'm getting there. And I said to my friend, you know, really, repairing this instrument, bringing it back to life, it justifies my existence, actually. It means, I think it's so important. And I think that's one of the deadly things about people who work all their life or work until their 60s and then retire. All of a sudden, they're of no use to anyone. And that must be a really devastating thing. And I can't imagine that. When the point comes when I really cannot be of use to others, then, well, I might as well be dead. No two ways. Okay. As you get older, you learn to discriminate very carefully between what is important and what is not important. And that's so in itself so important to realize what is actually important and what actually is not important. What is not important is to have a huge bank balance. That's just not important.
I'll see you soon, Anne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I've seen the bad effects of people who have too much and are not happy. To me, happiness is very simple in a way. It's to be of service to others and to make other people happy. That's a very important part. And to have enough so that you are provided for. But beyond that, it's dangerous territory. You need enough to survive. Money is an essential thing. You've got to pay your way. You have debts that you have to pay. There's no doubt in my mind that you need enough, but it is very dangerous to have too much. To me, there's absolutely no need to have fancy gadgets at all. I mean, I do have a fridge, and I do have a little freezer. The minimum that's necessary. People come into my kitchen, they're appalled. They look around, they say, but there are no appliances. And I said, well, there's a stove, there's, there's a sink to wash up, a table and chairs. What else do you want? When you get old, you get calcified slowly. And the worst thing is to have a brain that gets calcified and rigid and won't accept other points of view. I think one has just got to guard against it and try and resist it. One needs to learn that other people have their views and you have your views, but they're entitled to their views just as much as you are entitled to your views. To be tolerant of others whom you disapprove of in some way. I think that is actually maturity, and one never completely matures. you carry on maturing until you die. So there we go. As a human being, you form attachments to other human beings, especially your family. There's no doubt about it that the darkest moments of my life have been the loss of two children when they were at their peak. The one was 31 and the one was 32. And that was a shattering experience. And you never really get over it, but you learn to live with it. For children to die before the parents is unusual and very traumatic. And you have to then live the rest of your life with just memories. I have the confidence, as it were, to know that the two children, the two sons that I've lost, are just completely transformed in some way that I cannot explain, that I will never understand. And I must just accept that and carry on and do my best with my life. There are things we understand and there are things we do not understand. And one of the things we do not and never will be able to understand is what on earth happens when you do die. That there is some sort of existence I'm fairly convinced of. But whether I will be aware, I have no idea. But I do know that if I've made a good instrument, it will still be used, if it's looked after, for a lot longer than I will exist. It's a comforting thought in a way, that I will die and the harpsichords, the organs I've built, will still be played and still be giving pleasure to people. And it won't matter that I've died. That really is a wonderful thought. And I'm lucky again. I'm lucky that this is the case. When I stop, the things I love will not stop. So many people are obsessed with longevity, and I cannot understand it. I'm terrified of living too long. I don't want to. As soon as I'm not useful, then I'm disposable. When your body becomes too old to live, then it dies. And so what? When I go beyond my sell-by date, that's it. Please.
Thanks for watching our film. Every story we've made is possible thanks to the support of our patrons. And if you'd like to continue to support us to make stories that explore the infinite beauty of being human, sign up on Patreon. Thanks.